Hello, good afternoon. You're tuned into Your Stocks, coming live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. In terms of the market today, a bit of a muted day that's come in for the markets, right? 25,950, around that mark is what the Nifty is trading at, not managing to hold on to 26,000 mark, or not even managing to actually come back. You know, most of the day today, the first half of the trading session, we had the Nifty at 26,000. And then it gave up those gains, and now it's below 26,000 levels, down almost 90 points in the trading session, almost at the day's lowest point. Even the broader end of the market, that's performing in tandem with the benchmark indices. Both the Nifty mid and small cap are down almost 0.4%, and a slightly bit more than that is the small cap, which is also lagging in today's trading session. So small cap is down 0.6%. Advance decline ratio obviously clearly is in the favor of declines versus advances. And what's managing to hold on to some bit of a green is the metal pack. Nifty metals, that's shining in trade. And obviously, given those, we've seen the increase in terms of prices for silver, copper, the moves coming in over the weekend this morning, that is what is keeping these stocks in focus as well. So Hindustan Copper, Hinzing, keep an eye out on that. Apart from that, obviously defense, we had that announcement that came in from the Defense Acquisition Council that has approved the proposal worth 80,000 crore rupees. So keep an eye out on all the defense names like HAL, BEL on your radar. But let's get started with your stock related queries. And to do just that, we do have Ashish Kyal, chartered market technician, author at Wave Strategy Advisors, as well as Gaurang, Shah, Senior Vice President, Geojit Investments, to answer all those doubts. Ashish as well as Gaurang, good afternoon. Thank you so much as always for joining in. Let's get started with the first query then. This is coming from Shankar, who's writing to us from New Delhi. He's holding 1,000 shares of Samvardhana Motherson. Price is 118 rupees per share. What should he do with this? Hold or sell at current levels? He's bought 1,000 shares at 118, making almost at the buying price right now. Gaurang, your view.
Thank you so much, Vinny, for having me on the show. Good afternoon to all the viewers of CNBC TV18, to you and to my good friend Ashish Kyal. Season's greetings and Happy New Year well in advance to all of you all. A small disclaimer or disclosure. All recommendations that I'll be sharing this afternoon on your show, Vinny, are a part of our long-term research fundamental team recommendation. Our company Geojit or we do not have any personal investments, no financial interest, no conflict of interest. But we give advice to our clients on similar lines. They might have their investment interest. So Samvardhana Motherson, auto ancillary company, having its presence not only in India, but also in parts of US, Europe, and the rest of the world. Near-term challenges with respect to whatever is happening across the globe in terms of trade barriers could be a short to medium-term overhang. Long-term, we have a hold recommendation, and our sense, Vinny, is that if auto sector is going to do well, then auto ancillary, tire and battery manufacturing companies are also likely to contribute, because without these components, you don't have a complete safe vehicle on the road.
Absolutely. Ashish, what's your view for Samvardhana Motherson? What should the viewer do? It's at their buy price. So should they continue to hold or just sell?
Afternoon to you, Vinny, Gaurangji, and every viewers. And also we are still waiting for the center rally in the market, but it seems that that's going to happen with the new year. Overall, Samvardhana Motherson has continued to inch higher slowly and steadily. The stock bounced back from the 90 levels towards 120. I would suggest continue to hold on. We can start seeing positive momentum here building up. Targets can be 140. On the downside, the support for the stock is around 112 levels. So hold on over here and buy on the dips more. Add on the dips.
Okay, add on the dips, that's the word coming in there. Let's move on then to the next query for today. We have MG Kapoor, who is on the line with us from New Delhi, and he's made an investment in Castrol India. Mr. Kapoor, good afternoon. Thank you so much. And could you take us through your query?
Very good afternoon to you and to the experts. Now, my query is, I'm in a very peculiar situation. Because I had bought this stock primarily for dividend yield purposes. Dividend yield, I expect it to be good because any investor who's bought it is not going to risk downward from this. But I don't know whether to hold or to sell.
Okay, whether to hold or to sell. Obviously, given that the recent news flow that's come in for the global parent Castrol and Stone Peak, the announcements there as well with BP. So, Gaurang, what's your view for Castrol? What should Mr. Kapoor be doing now? Should they continue to hold Castrol India? What are you watching out for now?
Well, so to answer Mr. Kapoor's query, first of all, there was a dominant play, Castrol, in the automobile lubricant space. They had a very dominant role and very dominant product in terms of Castrol Magnet, which used to be used as engine oil for petrol and diesel vehicles. But the problem is that over the years, there has been increased amount of competition winning. But nevertheless, it is a very well-placed company in the automobile stroke industrial lubricant segment. We have a hold recommendation from a long-term point of view, and the reason news flow with respect to BP, etc., could play a short to medium term because fundamentally we remain quite optimistic in terms of performance for Castrol India. So I would advise Mr. Kapoor to continue holding it.
Okay, continue to hold it. That's the advice on the fundamentals. On the technicals, Castrol India, Ashish, what is it looking like? Hold, sell, average? What's the view there?
See, I understand that Castrol India has underperformed for some time, but I think that should change soon. The stock just 2 days back gave us a strong spike up, consolidating now. There is a possibility some traction can be seen here. We can expect the stock to move back towards 210 and possibly higher. Hold on is the recommendation. And on the downside, maintain a stop loss of around 180 levels. That's a very important low that the stock has formed.
Okay, keep an eye out on 180, the stop loss around that. Hold is the recommendation both on the fundamentals and the technical front. Mr. Kapoor, I hope that answered your doubt. But let's move on then and talk about the next query for today. We have Sudhakar who's writing to us from Pune and he's holding 55 shares of HAL. This is at a price of 4,655 rupees. Wants to know whether to hold or sell at the current levels. 4,655, so just below their buy price right now. But Gaurang, recent announcements that come in also just now from the Defence Acquisition Council as well. What should one be doing with HAL?
So I would kindly request you to allow me a few more seconds to answer this in a little bit of detail and more perspective, Vinny. We covered HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics, when the IPO was there many years back. But thereafter, we have maintained a positive view on the defense sector. And whatever news flows that have come in today from the government side in terms of acquisition of modernized equipment and modernizing the existing equipments. I'm talking about the arsenals which our armed forces use, whether it is air, land or sea. These kind of upgradations are likely to come through for many, many years. And from being importer from the rest of the world, India's position could change to exporters to the rest of the world. It's a very strong company in the defense pack, like I mentioned, though I won't be able to give a buy, sell and hold because of coverage not being there. But even for the light combat aircraft category from Tejas MK, Tejas MK1, and now we're talking about Tejas MK2, which is going to be the 5th generation, if I'm not mistaken, state-of-the-art fighter jet, capable of carrying lethal missiles under its wings, and the continuous upgradation for all the armed forces. Very strong play. Order book is very, very strong, and so is the execution capacity for Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. I won't go into specifics, buy, sell and hold because no coverage. But if you eventually decide to invest in defense sector, my humble request to all the viewers and investors that have 3 to 5 year plus kind of time horizon, because these are very precise technology, complex equipments that these companies manufacture.
Absolutely, it is important to be patient also with such announcements that come in as well. It's not going to be one fine day that you'll see the changes coming in for such sectors. But Ashish, what's your view for Hindustan Aeronautics? This year, when you look at 2025, till May, seemed like it was all fine. May, June, managed to reach that 5,000 level. And then after that, we've seen a bit of a fall. What should the viewer do now?
See, post May, June, we can see that the stock has done more of a time correction than a price correction. And the prior rise was also very steep from 3,000 levels towards 5,000. It has retraced hardly 38.2% of that rise. So the overall undertone still remains bullish for the stock. We can expect it to start move on the upside. and maybe even cross the prior highs, which was 5,700. So the overall tone is buy. Hold on to the stock here. On the downside, the support is around 3,900 levels, and the target can be around 6,000 from a positional perspective.
Okay, thanks so much. Keeping an eye out on those levels over there for Hindustan Aeronautics. Next query, Dushyant Patel is writing to us from Surat. He's holding 200 shares of Varun Beverages. This is at a price of 478 rupees per share, making some bit of a loss on this one. Wants to know the future prospects of his investment. Gaurang, Varun Beverages.
One of its kind play, Vinny, if you will, no peer comparison as far as my understanding and knowledge goes. From being into a traditional carbonated beverages provider, there was some news item that the company is venturing into alcohol beverages segment as well. We have a whole recommendation from a long-term point of view.
Whole recommendation from a long-term point of view on the fundamentals, on the technicals. Should the viewer continue to hold as well?
Yes, the stock is forming a classical triangle pattern. I think there is going to be a positive breakout from here on. It has been consolidating over short term, but I think there is going to be a strong positive move possible. But one has to be patient enough. We can expect the stock to move towards the level of 600 on the upside, which is the prior swing high. And on the downside, the support is around 450 levels.
Okay, keeping an eye out on those levels over there for Varun Beverages. But on that note, viewers, we're now going to slip into a very short break. After the break, we'll continue with more of your stock-related queries. Stay tuned in. Welcome back to Your Stocks on CNBC-TV18. We still have with us Ashish Kyal as well as Gaurang Shah to answer all those doubts that you all have sent us. Next query for today, we have Vikram Mehta who's writing to us from Chandigarh. He says that he is holding TCS shares and he's bought it at 3,200 rupees per share, just slightly above their buy price right now. Now wants to know a short-term view on this one. Gaurang, short-term view for TCS.
Well, I think IT is not the sector to play for short term, to be very honest, Vinny. And of course, I'm not capable. My good friend Ashish is much capable than what I am for short to medium term view. Having said that, we remain positive during difficult times of IT sector, even post the tariff announcement by President Trump on 2nd of April, if I'm not mistaken. And even now, there was expectation that second quarter earning was going to be a disappointment, but it turned out to be otherwise. Post second quarter earnings, the outlook for future and new strategies is extremely positive. I would say long-term, hold on to it. Short-term, I'm not capable of giving a buy, sell and hold, Vinny.
Sure. Long-term, you can continue to hold on to it, Vikram. But Ashish, short-term, any targets for TCS? What should one be doing? Because last 1 year, when you look at it, it's down 21%. And right now also it's around the buy price. So what should the viewer do? Maybe is average an option for the short-term? Any bounce that one could watch out for?
See, if you look at the entire IT cycle, I think it has been nearly 3 years that the cycle has been on the downside. But we have started seeing some kind of a positive traction over here. Some relative outperformance has started creeping in. But over short term, I think continue to hold on. The important support is going to be around 3,190 levels. As long as that level is intact, hold on to the stock, expecting a target of around 3,350 where you can look forward to book some profits.
350 where you can book some profits. 3,190 is the stop loss level. So keep an eye out on that for TCS. Next query for today is again an IT company that Amit has a doubt on. He's from Pune. 8,000 shares of L&T Technology Services is what he's holding. Price is 850 rupees per share. So he's been holding it for a while. What should the viewer do now? Hold or book their profits, Gaurang?
Perfect example of investing into a sound, strong, fundamental company, Vinny. At 850 and the price is 4,400 odd. This is how stock markets reward you if you invest in strong companies from a long-term point of view and hold on to it. Well, if you have time by your side, if you're not in any hurry, I would say continue holding on to L&T Technologies from a long-term point of view. And the fact is, Vinny, that when it comes to some of the mid to stroke large cap IT companies, their delivery in terms of numbers have been pretty strong, and that's been consistent. So hold on to it from a long-term point of view.
Hold on to it from a long-term point of view. And Ashish, what's your view for L&T Technology Services? Viewers surely making good amount of profit. Should they continue to hold or maybe book some bit of a profit right now?
No, I would suggest hold, because 850 levels I can see on the chart was in November 2017, and that's a long enough time. And the viewer has also hold on to 2020 crash. We can see there was another crash in the stock in the period of 2022. So he has been riding all the way. The primary trend has been on the upside. Right now, I would suggest to hold on, because I think the overall secular trend is again going to turn back on the upside and can get much more reward from here on. On the downside, the support levels for the stock is from the weekly chart perspective, a little longer term is 4,000 levels. And on the upside, we can expect the stock to cross eventually 6,000 and much higher from here on.
Okay. Surely, hold on to it. That's a word on the technicals and the fundamentals. Next query is an investment query. K. Padma is writing to us from Andhra Pradesh. She wants to know if she can look to invest in Delivery and Eternals at the current level. Your view on this one, Gaurang?
I'm caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, Vinny. We have coverage on both, as a matter of fact. So without being biased on either of them, I would say you can invest in both of them. Whatever capital you have to invest, divide it into two parts and invest in both.
Okay, divided into both two parts and invest in both. That's the word from Gaurang. Ashish, your view for Delivery as well as Eternal. Good levels to enter, maybe wait for some time.
See, Delivery has not shown strong outperformance yet, but yes, the stock still looks to be positively poised. The overall, it is retracing a part of the rise that we saw from the levels of around 236 towards the high of 490, and now retracing that. So yes, he can invest at the current levels of 404, expecting a target of around 550 on the upside. The support for the stock is at around 360. And as far as Eternal is concerned, we can see that the stock has shown a very spectacular move from the lows of 2023 when it was 48, now trading around 280. It's the right time because the stock has shown retracement of the rise, moved from 350 levels to 280, relieved the overbought zone, and one can start investing and nibbling slowly and steadily here. Support is at around 260. On the upside, we can expect the targets of around 340. Risk reward looks good from these levels.
Okay. Next query for today is from Sai Prakash, who's writing to us from Hyderabad, holding 3,000 shares of IRB Infra, prices 44 rupees per share. What should they continue to hold or maybe get out of the stock right now? Gaurang?
Vinny, it's been an underperformer, and for all the reasons that have been in the news, we don't have any specific coverage on IRB Infra, but we're positive on the infrastructure space. And over there, we have positive coverage on NCC Limited and HG Infra and Engineering. These are much stronger companies in the infra space.
Okay, some other names that Gaurang has highlighted right now for you all. Positive on the infra space nonetheless. Ashish, your view for IRB Infra, what should the viewer do?
See, IRB Infra, I think it's better to be out. The stock has sharply underperformed, moved from the levels of 55, made a low around 40, not showing any sign of recovery. So it's better to be out. Maybe something like L&T looks very, very strongly positive, breakout, consolidating. The overall trend is bullish. So look at L&T rather than IRB Infra and possibly switch.
Okay. Switch, that's a word coming in on the technicals as well. Next query is an investment query. Rajiv is writing to us from Mumbai. He's asking if he can buy Borosil for a time period of 6 to 1 year. So short-term query. Ashish, what's your view for Borosil? Good time to enter this one?
No, the Borosil price is quoting at around 531 levels. I don't think one should be looking for it, because if you look at the chart, the stock has been all over the place. It has been moving on the upside at 700, showed a very sharp correction back on the downside. There is no trend in the stock. I would advise it to possibly avoid. I'm talking about Borosil Renewable, if that's the stock that the viewer is asking.
And even Borosil Limited?
So if I look at Borosil Limited, just a second, let me just open up the chart. Borosil Limited shows also very similar structure. The stock has corrected from 400, now trading at around 279. My suggestion would be wait. If the stock manages to bounce back about 300, then buy it with 279 as a stop loss, because right now it's falling and it's better not to catch a falling knife.
Okay, better not to catch a falling knife. That's the word there. This next query has come from SD Ramesh, writing to us from Chennai. Again, an investment query. Gaurang, he's asking if he can invest in Coal India and REC at the current levels for the mid to long term.
So Coal India is something that we have coverage on. And my sense is that the entire mining sector is going to go through major changes with the new policies that the government is rolling out. On REC, Vinny, I would pass it to Ashish because we don't have coverage.
Okay. REC and Coal India, what's your view on this one, Ashish?
See, REC has recently broken below the important support levels, but shown some kind of recovery. My suggestion would be, instead of buying now, wait for a breakout about 360. That's very nearby, but 360, 361 looks like a hurdle. If that is taken out, we can expect the stock to move towards a level of around 390 and positively higher, with a stop loss on the downside at around 347. And as far as Coal India, it gave a very strong breakout on the upside, showing some consolidation, expecting an upside move towards 425 and possibly much higher from there.
Okay, thanks for those levels over there. We'll keep an eye on that. But Ashish as well as Gaurang, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and hope you all have a great new year as well. I'll see you all in the new year now. But viewers, thank you so much for sending us your queries. But do remember, keep sending us your queries on the email address as well as the phone number on your screens, and we'll address them with our experts. Now, the last hour of trade is still left, so don't go anywhere. Closing bell is up next for that.